Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome in to a little special episode this week. As part of This Week in Challengers, we thought we'd bring in one of the bosses of Challengers. I think we can say that efficiently. We got none other than Jersey Jerry from the Bush here. Enigma and I are very excited to talk to you. Jerry, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys for having me. Pumped up. As you know, I've interacted with you guys in the past on YouTube and whatnot and Twitter, and just appreciate you guys reaching out, asking me for a little interview here. So I'm pumped to do this.
Interacted is a fun word to use. When I basically had to message you and ask if the hounds could be called off after I said that you guys were bad at Overload. I think we've repaired a couple of bridges since then. I think the fan base are a little bit more on side, but I mean, you've got an incredible bunch over there. Were you expecting like them to be so passionate, like heading into COD as they have been this year?
It was pretty weird, man. Like, we started originally and we were just doing tryouts to, like, sometimes we would have like 40 people watching us in the very, very beginning, like 7 months ago. And we thought like, we're going to give it a shot. It probably won't be great. Not enough people are into Call of Duty. Our fan base at Barstool, they might not be into it as much. And then I just really don't know. I still to this day, I'm trying to figure out, like 7 months later, how we took that jump. And it's like, I don't even know how it happened, what sparked it, but like we went from, 40 people watching me, Sass, and Mook live streaming tryouts to then having episodes do 90K on YouTube. It's just insane in 7 months.
Yeah, it's been like, I think that's like been what's crazy to me is that like I knew when you guys were coming into the space, I was like, okay, like it's Barstool, man. Like you guys got fans. There's a nice little Venn diagram, right? Of like, okay, probably people who love sports, people who love COD. All right, cool. Yeah, you got some clout, but I'm right there with you. I don't think anybody expected it to be just this wave that's been behind you guys. That's there. And it's been really cool kind of watching that. I actually had a question for you about what's it been like for you kind of from the start, like you said, 7 months ago to here? Because, I think you said you started out with tryouts and now Dallas Major won. You're throwing a choke up against Rock across the stage, right? Like, did you foresee you like getting to that point when you started this whole thing?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit in the beginning. Like, we were very reserved early on in the beginning. Like,
yeah,
we kind of didn't interact with our players much. We listened to like everything they said, all their suggestions. We didn't really know what was going on. Still to this day, we struggle a little bit about certain things when it comes to challengers and face it and all that kind of stuff. But no, I really didn't envision it like that. I came into this being like, hey, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. Might be dead in a month when we don't have enough fans watching. But hey, it's a cool experience. All three of us love Call of Duty. We'll see where we could take it. And then just like that second or third month, it was like, okay, fuck it. Now we're going. Now we're going to go.
Yeah.
Well, like, I guess two things kind of follow up there. Like, first of all, I've seen you, like, you getting around the pit and everyone, like, wanting to say hello to Jersey Jerry. Were you always a celebrity? Like, what's the situation now? How's that feel for you, getting all the pictures and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I was, I'm not going to say I'm a celebrity or anything, but like, I have a strong following on Twitter and Instagram. Really grateful to my start. I had a great start with one of YouTube's golf's biggest stars in Bobby Berger and Bob Does Sports. I came early on. I say, man, what was that? 2020, maybe 2019, somewhere around there. I kind of started social media, just kind of like an accident, I'd say. I was a union pipe fitter working underground and making funny videos, and this guy, Bobby, found me, and I used to call New York radio and stuff like that, talk about sports. He found me and kind of turned me into this content, character. And then Barstool down the line picked me up, and I've been with Barstool ever since. And they've also given me a massive platform to just express myself naturally, and I'm really grateful to them. But yeah, I don't know about a celebrity, but, Whoa, what the fuck just happened?
What?
Well, are you?
Oh my God.
Moves where the lights, if you don't move, they shut off.
Oh yeah. Hold on a second.
Jerry just entered the upside down or something. Like we lost him. He's back. It's all right.
No, I'm in one of those rooms. I'm in one of those rooms.
Like a pod. Yeah.
Sit there and clap.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm glad to see that you're okay, mate. I guess like kind of where I wanted to go off the previous question, other than asking about being a celebrity and stuff, is when you came into it, and I guess kind of we brought up there like maybe like paving the way a lot in challenges. Like, was that your intention initially? Because you said like 90K on YouTube. Like, were you always like, okay, we're gonna make a vlog, we're gonna do that, or have you kind of gone, oh well, everyone's kind of enjoying this, why don't we just see where it goes?
Yeah, it's kind of the second part you said, like everybody was enjoying it. We'll see where it takes us. We know going into it though, we were going to be a content first org. That was the goal from the beginning. Like, hey, we've seen over the years OpTic what they've built, Phase what they've built, Gentlemates as well, and it's like, okay, they laid out the business plan for us. This is how you run things, kind of. This is what you can do for content, and we kind of piggybacked off of those ideas, and we just knew like, hey, we're three interesting, funny guys as well. Why can't we do it? And once we realized like that initial pop, that's when we were like, okay, let's do more.
Yeah.
We could do more, and Austin came in to the fold, and he's been a big help for us as well, talking to us about different content ideas, what he thinks would work, what he thinks wouldn't work. So it's just a daily grind of just trying to just be better every single day.
It's been dope to see like how you basically took that like exactly that same Barstool sauce and then just like applied it to challengers, where it's like, hey, there's like some level of corporate here, but also we're three idiots just recording everything, right? And it just feels like that just like is a perfect storm for Call of Duty, right? Because that's like our entire scene has just been like reactionary, right? People standing up, yelling at each other online, and it's just like that. It just feels so natural of a fit, like when it all kind of came together.
Oh yeah, dude. And you know what's crazy? Speaking about the pit and whatnot, like I haven't been nervous a lot of times in my life. You know what I mean? Like nervous to the point where like my heart was like racing. I could feel the blood like traveling throughout my body. And like, you know what I mean? And it was like my heart was pumping. I was like sweating, and like that was such an amazing experience and incredible feeling that I love so much. And like I just want to do more of it. And I feel like, I'm not saying Call of Duty is dead and whatnot, but like we need more of that stuff, man. We need more passion in Call of Duty. Guys screaming at each other, getting personal, talking shit. I'm not saying they gotta fight everybody or hate everybody they come across, but I would love to see some more rivalries and teams not like each other and shit talk. You know what I mean? It makes for a better product.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it definitely does. I know that when we got to cast over you guys in the open one, and you were doing the choke and everything else, like I know that everybody loved it. It wasn't just necessarily the Bush fans and all that. It takes us back almost in Call of Duty. It takes us back to harkens back to the days of like the opens and where it used to be like basically hundreds of teams would rock up to the same boat, hope to play on the stage with the pros. And I guess building on kind of like you felt that blood rushing through and everything else. What has been like the most surprising thing to you through this whole journey of challenges, whether it be something on the front end or maybe something behind the scenes?
Ooh, man, this is a good question. Something I really didn't expect was for our team, our roster of four guys, whether prior to Spartan, Cap leaving, and then Cap coming back, but just us being super competitive in every single tournament we're a part of. I didn't really expect that. Like we wanted to be content first and whatnot. And at the same time, yes, we did want to win. We still want to win at all costs. But I was very surprised to see at every single level, us being super, super competitive every single tournament. I thought Major 2 was a flop, in my opinion. We weren't happy about that. The top 8, that was pretty unacceptable.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like we've really excelled. And there were some instances along the way with like, people clashing on the roster and whatnot, and you got to figure out how to handle those type of things. We had our first, intro to that with, Cap originally and whatnot, but he turned it around, was locked in for Major 1, and even after that, and he came back this time around, and he's fucking locked back in again. But yeah, I would say that like us being super competitive every step of the way. I was very surprised at that.
It's like, it was like, I think when I watched that roster form, your first initial one, it was so interesting because I was like, this team is going to be gross. Like, you know, I think everyone was like, no, it wouldn't have been a surprise for us to be like, oh, that team's going to do really well. I actually had the flip side where I was like, how, like, you guys are content first, and you have some people who are just like not content players. Like,
Yes.
these are like, they're not, who are not traditionally known as content people. But it was also cool to see them then kind of morph into that and then kind of be a little bit more content driven. It feels like, right? That's there.
Yes.
But how hard is it though, where you like, you build up this relationship with these players and now all of a sudden like, oh, sorry, we're too good. Now you got to go to the big leagues and now we're scrambling here. Like, how hard is it to build that relationship just to have it kind of get blown up and sometimes over $2,000?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, it's been a wild ride, man. It has. I felt like, you know, Major One, we got super close with Spart. You know what I mean? Got to know him as a person. You know, his family as well. You know, late night talks on Discord and whatnot, vibing together, gaming together, and for him to, you know, go after that was super tough for us. He was surprisingly, I didn't expect it either. He was a great on camera personality.
Yeah.
Really was. Showed a lot of emotion, was real, was authentic. But yeah, dude, it is very tough because you get so close to these guys, and you know it's weird because you only spend a couple days in a row in person with them.
Yeah.
But you're up late at night. You're breaking bread, you're having dinners, you're doing everything together for those days, right? So you get to know them, you get to ask them questions about, hey, fuck Call of Duty, talk to me about your personal life. What's your family like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got any brothers and sisters and whatnot? What do you do for fun besides Call of Duty? Most of them say Call of Duty. So,
Yeah.
but it's been difficult when those guys, you know, are a part of the Bush and then they go on, like Lou, for example. Like Lou just went to the Ravens, right? And I'm not saying it was because of Bush, because Lou played his ass off. He really did.
1.2
But
Lou.
I will say this: we were an org that pushed him. You know, especially when it came to like, you know, content stuff, being on camera, you know, tweeting more, going live for scrims, you know, putting your face out there. And like, you know, obviously the play has to align with all those things. But like, we were giving him good gas for months, and then finally it pays off, right? So like, it's gonna be tough, obviously. You know, now that Lou's gone, and we love him, we miss him already. He's still in the team speak, right? He's still chopping it up with all of us and whatnot in the group chats. So yeah, dude, it's difficult, but at the end of the day, that's our goal as an org, right?
Yeah.
We want to be an org that, hey, maybe a player has gotten no chances in the CDL, or maybe a player was in the CDL one time and hasn't been in for 5 years, or like Byron and like Lou, you know what I mean? Or a guy like Cap, right, who's been in a billion times, is in and out, but hey, you're gonna come back to us. You still got a home here, right? We're gonna push you and push you and push you so you can get back eventually, you know. So that's just what we love doing right now, man. You know, we're a big family here in the Bush.
Love that.
Well, to touch on the family thing, because this is something that Lou tweeted as well. He said, you know, you guys were basically his family. And it's amazing to hear what you're talking about there, where you're at the opens together, breaking bread and all that kind of stuff. And it's clear to see how someone like yourself and the rest of the fellas could generate that relationship with people in person and your players. But I would argue that actually the wider Bush support feels like a family. Very much so in the sense if you kick them once, they all come running at you. But it's also a case of, you know, it just, I don't know, it feels like this unit, this armada of people that are all celebrating this one cause. How have you managed to build that relationship with people that you're not in person with people that are over the internet and so on?
Yeah, dude, that's a great question. You know, for us, it's like they've been they're a bigger part of this than people even realize, right? I have people who have been in there since day one of tryouts, right, that are watching the Bush still to this day. Excuse me, but I think what it is they are a part of the story, right? Like they've been here since day one, right? And it's only getting bigger, and people are coming along for the storyline, and it's just like we have everything out in the open, right? We're not trying to hide anything. This is how our org is ran. You know, obviously we're gonna make mistakes along the way. We're gonna have some fuck ups, right? But the audience loves it. They love when we fuck up, but they also love when we celebrate milestones, like getting our first sponsor. You know what I mean? So like they feel a part of the story. They've helped us with get to major one. They've helped us with major two. You know what I mean? They're gonna help us major three. Whether that's buying merch, subbing on YouTube, commenting, liking, subscribing on Twitch, all those things, donations, so like they've been a huge part of this story. And I think that's the big thing, right? They're along for this journey with us.
Yeah.
And I think their end goal aligns with our end goal. And then that's one day to eventually be in Oregon, the CDL, and be taken like super seriously and be super successful there.
Well, I think you guys, like you said, like you kind of took a page, I feel like, out of Hex's book, where it's like you're one of the few people who you get a look into what it's like to actually run a challengers team, right? Because I think probably before you, maybe Rafi was the only person who would kind of maybe shed some light here and there, right? But now, like with a lot of the owners meetings and the vlogs and like all of these things, I think that's why people are just so like attached to it, because they've been here with you literally the entire way. Like they've seen the growth and they've seen you go, like you said, from those 40 viewer streams to now. I pop open challengers and you guys, are rocking just as much as the main broadcast, sometimes if not more. And it's just to watch the Bush, right? Not even the whole challenger scene. So it's just it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's the journey, dude, has been amazing. But the bigger you get, obviously, the more haters you get as well. So you'll always have those people. Listen, our first time also with Major 2, right? We haven't had a scenario. Obviously, we only been to one major prior to Major 2. That was Major 1 in Dallas. We were in grand finals. We got our ass kicked there, right? So like now we go to Major 2 and we get top 8. And the fan base felt like they just turned. We were like on stream, like me, Sass, and Mook, and we were like texting each other during the stream, like, holy shit, we never seen our fan base like this, bro. They like turned on us. And like it was weird, but in a way, like it hurt them just as much as it hurt us. You know what I mean? So like that's what we have to understand, Like, hey, it hurts them just as much. Like this is like their team as well. We have to understand that. So that's what we know. We're learning that, we're adapting to that. But yeah, dude, the fans have been nothing short of amazing, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. It's incredible to hear not only everything that goes on, and like obviously myself and Dan are fully aware of a lot of the support that you guys get, but also hearing it from that end of things and how it's affected you guys. Now you're like, okay, we understand that you cut them and they'll bleed Bush. That's kind of how it feels with a lot of them, which is amazing. I think it's a testament to everything that you guys have done, that you have that loyalty, that passion behind you guys. Something that you brought up while you were talking there about how your fan base have helped you do many of things. Let's kind of go back to the sponsorship, the Kraken sponsorship. One of the first big ones that I think I've seen in challenges. Incredible feat. I remember you guys were speaking about it in one of your previous videos about that's kind of where you want to get to. Obviously, I'm imagining there's limits to the details you can give, but how did that come about? And is that a season-long thing, or is that a split-long thing? What's the look there?
So right now, so pretty much how it came about was like Kraken, and I don't know how much you know about Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool Sports, but like he does a lot of like this Davey day trader stuff where he'll trade stocks and talk about stocks and whatnot. And Dave was in crypto as well, and then Kraken came along and invested in like Barstool Sports and Dave. They sponsored a couple different shows here. They sponsored Dave, Barstool as a whole, pretty much. And it was tough for us to get a sponsor early on, just because I felt like Barstool was never in this space, obviously. They've tried to do some gaming things and whatnot that went good, but not great, and eventually like fizzled out and whatnot. But I feel like they finally understood, like the sales team understood. Austin got it. Dave understood it. And now it's easier for them to sell to sponsors like, hey, this is what they do. These are their streams. This is their team. This is the org. You'll have Behind the Bush. You'll have watch parties. You'll have Mook, Sass, and Jerry streaming separately. You'll have so much content, the vlogs and whatnot. So it was easy for them to understand it. Actually, one of the guys is a big gamer as well, so that helped out.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that was a big help. But yeah, I'm almost positive they are the presenting sponsor for the rest of the year, I would assume. That's what I've heard.
Incredible.
Obviously, like me, Sass, and Mook, we don't know details. They would never tell us details on like prices and whatnot. They'll keep that to themselves. But
Gonna get a
They put
raise?
up an
Like, I gotta get what's going on with that?
Yeah, man. But like, yeah, dude, super grateful for them. And I think that's the first of many, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I think that's the first of
Nice.
many. And we try to go above and beyond for anybody that is gonna sponsor the Bush. I know Lucy helped out with Major Two getting us there. They put up a good chunk of money. They put up, I mean, it's public knowledge, they put up $15,000
Wow.
for us to get there. You know, we promoted them the whole weekend there. But yeah, dude, sponsors. I think that's the first of many. I really do.
Well, it's kind of fun to see that, because it was interesting, because there was like obviously that owners meeting where it comes out where Austin's like, you guys have no idea what you're doing. Like, we need to do way more if you're going to try and land a sponsorship. You
Yeah.
immediately hit the stream and you're cold calling, what was it, your old cleaner to try and sponsor
My
the
mom-
Bush?
My mom's clean. My mom's clean. Yeah, she has a business. You know.
Okay.
Oh man.
Oh, you making moves, but it was cool to watch that happen. Whereas like it was literally just like felt like there was a line in the sand, and all of a sudden you just watched this content explode already when we were seeing more. Oh, like so much already come out of the Bush. So I'm not surprised to see Kraken want to come on, but you know, now that you got one, maybe the second one's a little bit easier. Who's maybe a dream sponsor for the Bush? Maybe like a Gillette, maybe a Dollar Shave Club. You know,
What are you saying? What are you saying? I need to shave or
I was
something?
just saying. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe that'd be a bad sponsor, 'cause you're supposed to be unshaven. So I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
fair. I don't know. You know, I don't know, man. Obviously, we would love to have somebody that's in the space.
Yeah,
As far as like controllers, PCs, you know, monitors, a company that's there already that spends a lot of money in CDL.
yeah.
We would love to have those sponsors as well, because like, hey, like at the end of the day, we are a gaming org. You know what I mean? So it'd be nice to have one of those type of sponsors, I would say, to back the Bush.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, like the idea of some of those coming out again, like just everything that you guys are doing, it's so impressive. Because I mean, I've been watching competitive COD since it basically started. Like, I've been hooked since Black Ops 2. I know, Dan, you've been around for probably as long, a hell of a long time. I don't think I've ever seen someone come in and truly pave a path as quickly as you guys have. You guys clearly put in a hell of a lot of work. What, I mean, other organizations out there, no doubt, are going to be looking towards you guys and saying, look, these guys have done it. This is incredible. Is there advice that you would put out to those people who are passionate and just want to get into challengers, but want to find a way of being constructive in the space and not just kind of turning up with a team with their jerseys on? What would you say to those people who are looking up to you right now?
Yeah, I would say, listen, at the end of the day, me, Sass, and Mook, like, we've played Call of Duty in the past. We've watched Call of Duty, right? But at the same time, we really didn't know what went into any of this, right?
Yeah.
We just figured, hey, like, we want to be on camera. We want to document this process, right? We want to build an org. And if we can do it, you can do it as well. Like, it's like, yes, there's a lot of work that gets put into it. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hours that people don't realize, where you're getting Discord calls at 2 a.m. because two guys aren't getting along, right? And you kind of got to figure that out. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But at the same time, you put that camera on, just document the process. Put your camera on, do a couple of streams, try your best to get an editor to edit some of these videos, right? The path is there. I mean, OpTic paved the path.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard. We're taking pretty much their recipe as well. You know what I mean? We're doing a couple different things here and there, but a lot of it is pretty much the same exact recipe. They laid it out. And I don't know if it's just like laziness, or people are just shy to do it, or what, but just go take a chance. There's nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is kind of like, it really, right? It's just like kind of business 101, right? It's like, if you have the blueprint, take it, spin it into your own way, and then try and add that type of flavor to it, which you guys have obviously done a fantastic job of managing to do. And now it's like, you know, and that's kind of where I kind of look at, where I'm like, you guys came in, challengers, admittedly, people have kind of shit on it, right? For a couple of years, because it's always been this, like, it's overlooked and it's not taken serious. And, you know, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But to see you guys come in as such a force and be able to sort of set that standard and show what's possible when you give a shit is kind of what it feels like, right? Like, here's exactly what's possible. And now, you know, you're landing sponsors. Now we're going to start to see, I think, other orgs maybe start to land some sponsors as well. That's the type of, like, I feel like snowball that
It sucks. Sorry.
No, this is great. It just feels like
These
that's
rooms
like,
suck. I think it's like every 20 minutes or something.
oh well, yeah. Well, we've only been recording for 25, so it's got to be like 15.
10 minutes,
I think.
maybe.
Yeah, 10
Yeah, it
minutes
gotta
or
be.
something. But my point really was though is that like, you know, obviously we all have our gripes about challengers and how it could be run better, but like, what do you hope to see, kind of even just short term in the next year or two within challengers, just being able to see kind of already the upswing here and sort of year number one, and that you guys were the real catalyst of that.
Yeah, I feel like the big with it right now is just organizing it, you know. There's a lot of downtime. You know, I get like 15, 20 minutes. I get all that stuff, you know, use the bathroom, grab something to eat and whatnot. But like the whole and listen, I know people are like, oh, I got to go to this land to make money and whatnot, you know, stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, this is challengers, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be organized. You know, there's got to be a strict schedule. You know, the last thing people want to do is wait around 4 hours for their team to play.
Yeah.
You know, it's just unnecessary. It's uncalled for. It's like a slap in the face to the people who are streaming it. You know what I mean? It's a slap in the face for all the people who are watching as well. So like I think a big change needs to be like the timing of these cups. You know,
Yep.
I feel like elites are a little bit better, I would say,
Yep.
but the cups are kind of like a mess right now. The bracket doesn't get updated, like it gets updated so late. We hate that. Obviously, our fans ask us a million questions. Sometimes we have, and also it's very hard to navigate
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like the whole page, like respectfully, it sucks. It really does. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so hard to find information.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big problem. Is like, listen, I think we're in a world today where like you want something, you want it now, right? I want to be able to click a button and everything's laid out for me, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to go searching for 15 minutes to try to find something. So like, I think that's a big thing that needs to change, and hopefully it changes. And as far as like challengers goes, I hope we get like an open bracket, man. You know, I really would love that
Yeah.
to be able to compete with teams in the CDL. You know,
Yeah.
that's how it should be at the end of the day. It really should.
It's been like my thing for a while. Like I'm like it's criminal that there are these CDL teams that don't get to go to a major, or you do get to go to a major and you play one series and you're done. When we have, dude, you take the top 4 challengers teams and they're basically ex CDL rosters almost, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
it would be so much content and just would be great to run a group stage into a bracket and, you know, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, and I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying we're like overall 100% the best challengers roster. Like I'm not saying any of this, but like we just scrimmed 3 CDL teams, right? We rinsed I think 4 actually. We rinsed 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I know it's just scrims, and I know they were using just guns and whatnot, different guns, you know, obviously with the new updates and whatnot and new maps. But like, hey, we held our own. We dominated 3 of those 4 scrims. So it's like, hey, there's teams that can compete with these other teams,
Yep.
and there's also teams in the CDL that that just don't care. At the end of the day, they just flat out just don't care whatsoever. Like for an example, like Carolina. Happy that Lou's there. Wish him the best, right? They made it a point to tell us, right? Hey, we're not giving you guys a penny. Just a heads up. We're not trialing anybody with a buyout. We're not paying a buyout. There's a 0% chance you're getting a buyout. So Lou has a buyout in his contract, right?
Yeah.
Lou is going to have to pay that buyout, which he already says, I got no problem. I signed the contract. I'm going to pay that, right? But now Lou's first experience going to an org is, I got to dish out money out of my pocket to be on this fucking team. That's a slap in the face.
That's not great.
Kind of speechless after that one. Where do we? I mean, because you've negotiated with a couple of different teams now. Obviously, Ravens now added to that list. I mean, I'm going to be straight up with it. Is that the worst experience that you've had then in terms of those negotiations?
Yeah, that would be probably the worst for sure. It really wasn't even. There was really no negotiation. It was pretty much, listen, Lou deserved another chance in the league. We all knew that. We heard his story. Obviously, we didn't follow Lou for those Paris Legion time, so we didn't know anything about it. We've heard from him. We've heard from other people what his experience was with that. getting thrown to a fire on a fucking dog shit team. But Lou has worked his way back, right? The story was there for him to go back. He played well. We pushed him there too. He gets back, right? We want him there. We want him to be in CDL. We know he deserves to be there. We weren't going to say, oh, no, you're not going.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we also have an org to run. All this stuff going to majors, it all costs money. It's not cheap. But like for him, for his first experience to be like, hey, I gotta spend my own hard-earned money that I'm not making a lot of because I'm just in challengers.
Yeah.
Like now I have to spend that just to join this team. I felt like was really messed up, and that shows like a team who, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to have a roster spot. But that was the worst one. Vancouver, there was a little bit of a hiccup, but nothing major at all. They paid out buyouts twice, and then Boston Breach with Spart, paid the buyout, no problem. But Carolina was straight up from the jump talking to our GM Jace. Jace reached out to them saying, heard you want to trial Lou. They pretty much said, hey, we understand Lou has a buyout. We're not going to do anything with Lou. We're not going to pay. We have $0 to pay for a buyout. So just so you guys are aware, we're not paying $1. So we kind of had to break that news to Lou and tell him like, sorry, it is what it is, bro. We want you to be there. Don't get us wrong. But like at the end of the day, this is just what has to happen.
Well, because as well, like, as much as you love him to death, and of course, like, it's business at the end of the day. Like, you're a challenger, you're no doubt putting up a lot of dollars to do this. And okay, you've got sponsorship rolling in now, but that has, you've not had that through the opening portions of the season. So there's a whole bankroll to fill. And surely, as in any sport, as in traditional sports, it's a case of you've largely fund your operation by selling on. So that's, I don't know, that's baffled me just a little bit.
You didn't even get a tweet. That's what I'm pissed about. You didn't even get a graphic, and that's appalling to me. That's appalling.
No, there's teams that like in the like they don't even post, man. They don't post. They don't try to promote their brand. They don't try to like level up their org or whatever. They're just okay with whatever, like paying guys the minimum and just trying to get by. I heard that whole C9 situation, which I don't even know if it's even legal to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're paying guys in fucking quarters over there. But how is that able to happen at the professional level? I just don't understand it.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a billion things that go on behind the scenes. You've already mentioned your ultimate goal, get to the CDL. What is, I mean, kind of, we've heard that like Omit and someone, I forget who it was, maybe like kind of collaborating a bit. What's stopping you, like, not obviously not this year, but at some point kind of making that jump and going, okay, when's the time to get us involved here?
Well, I think a big thing is the buy-in to the CDL is extremely expensive. Yeah. I think it costs a ridiculous amount of money just to get that spot. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a world where they can expand to like 16 teams, and it'd be like cheaper, maybe next round of negotiations or whatever, or to buy somebody's spot who's already there, who's locked in, right?
Yeah.
But listen, I'm not going to say the team, but there was a team who reached out to us and wanted us to pretty much buy their spot. And it just didn't make sense for us. It's like, why are we paying this much money to buy your spot? You're a failing org. You know what I mean? It's like the asking price you have is like ridiculous, makes zero sense. And I get it. They lost a ton of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they're losing a ton of money because they're not putting money in and trying to level up their org. They're not putting out videos. They're not putting out content. They're not trying to make money on Twitch or YouTube streams or anything like that. They're just calling it a wash and be like, hey, we probably made bad investments. We can't keep up with the day-to-day operations of the team and the org. So like, hey, it is what it is. We're just going to take our losses until maybe we're bought out or we're kicked out. Who knows?
It's like, that's kind of been my number one gripe with that sort of whole model is exactly that. Like, it's hard for an organization like you who has the backing of literally one of the largest media organizations in the world, right? Like, to be able to just kind of make an entrance that doesn't have to require like this insane upfront cost that's there. But my question with it though, let's say whatever, magic happens, you're given a spot, all right? Is you going Chicago? Is that where you're trying to plant your feet? Is that where you're trying to operate out of? Are you looking maybe somewhere else? Like,
I mean, it depends on like what Dave, if he even would want it. You know, I think the bigger the Bush get, though, I think the more he's gonna understand. And while yes, it's gonna be expensive, to run, it's like it's essentially gonna be like a whole nother side of Barstool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be expensive to run. You know, player salaries are really, really expensive. You know, you got to pay for them to get to every fucking major and whatnot, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I like Chicago. Um, I mean, I'm from New Jersey, so I kind of like New Jersey too.
Hey, there's no New York team anymore, so that's a whole
Very true.
swath that you have
Hey,
for you.
I'd be down for New York. I'd be down for like a Boston. You know what I mean? If they're not there, who
Please.
knows? But
Please, Jerry.
yeah,
Please.
that would be sick, man. That would be fucking sick. I'd love that.
Oh,
This man would instantly become your biggest fan. If so, God, he is a Boston fan, true and
there's
true.
four
It
of
is-
us, dude. Someone's got to root for Boston. There's like four of us that are Boston
Yeah.
Breach fans. Okay.
Well, Dave is from there too, you know,
Yeah.
so maybe he would be like, "Hey, let's fucking take this back to the Milton days." You know what I mean? Let's go back to Boston.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, I think that's all we got, man. As far as questions go, I know it's been great being able to sit down with you and hear a lot of great nuggets and just kind of hearing how you felt personally. And you know, obviously, I think we get to interact with you, you know, through Twitter and obviously through the streams and stuff. But being able to kind of hear, you know, how some of this stuff impacts you and also some hot tea. We love it. That's there. You know, anything you want to say to a lot of the Bush fans who are, you know, obviously gearing up for getting ready for a Major 3. Obviously, there's a Pro-Am, so a chance for you guys to actually get that spot to maybe play against some of the pro teams. Anything you want to say to the fans out there?
Hey, man, our team's been working hard every single day. You know, even outside of just scrims, bonding together in team speak. You know, playing ranked together, playing eights together. You know what I mean? They're at it every single day. We didn't have a lot of time to scrim, I'd say, for those couple days now that we acquired Cap and Cammy. There wasn't much time with this cup, but now we got no excuse. The goal is to win the elite. Then the goal is to obviously go to the program, be super competitive there, knock out some CDL teams. And I think Atlanta is going to be a movie, man. I can't wait. We're pumped.
It's going to be a great time. And anyway, you got anything else to say before we wrap this one on up?
No, man, just obviously huge props to yourself and the team over there, doing some incredible things as we've discussed throughout this episode. And of course, a lot of love out towards the Bush fans. It's been just truly next level watching what you guys have brought to challenges this year. And I don't know, long may it continue, although hopefully with even greater heights throughout this year. And good Lord, I think we'd feed generations if you guys make the Pro-Am and EWC. Please, dear God, make that happen.
That's the goal, brother. Appreciate both of you guys for having me, man. Much success to you guys.
Thank you so much, Jared. We'll see you later.